Choose. Choose wisely.
Holy Grail Toys is the ultimate destination for rare action figures, exclusive merch, and collector-grade drops. And now, taking pre-orders for the Bandito 112 scale action vehicle from Odd Frog Entertainment, releasing in 2026.
You have chosen wisely.
HolyGrailToys.com.
The Sarlacc Digest, the long-running live stream podcast digesting Star Wars topics for over 1,000 years. Join them for all the latest news, rumors, and theory crafting with none of the drama or the bull. Live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific Time on YouTube. And don't forget the Sarlacc Toy Chest, covering all the newest Star Wars toy releases and news from Hasbro, Hot Toys, Jakks Pacific, and more. Live every other Monday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Time. Be there and keep it nerdy.
PlasticNews.com. All the latest from Hollywood. Toys. Gaming. Comics. And anything pop culture. PlasticNews.com. Don't forget the IQ. PlasticNews.com.
Well. One man, one suit. A legend carved in blood and bullets. He was out and they pulled him back in apparently for chapter 5. I don't know, but that is the rumor. We're going to talk about the man, the myth, the legend. That is John Wick, the franchise that has taken off and created a ton of other spin-offs. Well, is he really coming back after he said he was done? We're going to get into the drama. And do we want to see Keanu Reeves once again put on the suit, grab his weapon, and go to work? Plus, what in the hell is going on in the toy industry? Price hikes galore. I don't know about you all, gentlemen, but my pocketbook is getting thinner and thinner as we speak. Plus, lots of other things in the world of pop culture, including another round of new popcorn buckets, lots of other pre-orders and action figures, and Star Trek Lego. Oh, you better believe it. So grab your popcorn, your favorite cocktail, and stay tuned. This is Pixels Plastic Inc. Well, good evening to you all on this fine Friday evening right here on the Shadow Nose Network. Before we go any further, please subscribe, like, comment, share the word. We are inching closer to the 3,000 subscriber mark. And all it takes is a couple subs each and every day. So we appreciate it. We are growing like crazy. Also, don't forget Instagram, our socials. We got a lot of stuff going on, plus the Discord. We are building the community. We appreciate the Shadow Syndicate, the Shadow Army. Things are moving very fast for us. And speaking of fast, we got a big announcement at the end of the show, and that is we're inching much, much closer to LA Comic-Con. So if you haven't been tuning in, well, you might get a little sneak peek of what's happening. Chet, what is behind you? I guess we'll save that for later on what is currently behind you. But Mr. Storm, how are you this fine Friday evening?
Hey, doing great. Glad that everybody watched the rest, but now you're watching the best. Pixel Plastic. So, glad everybody's tuning in. We're getting there, like you said, put those seatbelts on because we got a show tonight, brother. We got a show tonight.
We do. We certainly do.
Yeah.
Dr. Brantley, John Wick's giving you that look, man. I don't know if you're safe. How are you this evening?
No. John's with me. You guys are the ones that should be worried.
Okay. All right.
He's got my back.
Okay. Well, Mr. Chet Maddox in the house. How are you, sir?
I am delightfully. That doesn't work. Yeah, I'm great. There's a lot going on. We have a lot been happening behind the scenes. We're excited to finally announce it and talk about it tonight. But that being said, a lot of stuff has happened this week, even since Wednesday. So there is a lot, and I am a little bit shocked on the whole Wick announcement. So I'm looking forward to getting into this conversation. How are you doing, Mr. Rad Insight?
Oh, man, I'm pumped. I'm a big Wick fan, so I'm excited to chat about that. But I got to tell you, I really got to tell you, I was watching Toy Box Chronicles. Mr. Storm and Chet Maddox host every Wednesday. And these figures, I don't know where to put them, and I don't know how to afford them, but they are coming fast and swift. So kudos to the Hasbro Marvel Legends team because they're pumping them out like hotcakes. But we're going to talk about what that means to our pocketbooks. But before we go any further, let's check the chat and see who's up in here this evening, because we got a lot of people starting off this fine Friday with us. First off, none other than Commander Bly. How are you, sir? Anyone know where I could get a hold of some Fresh Pixels plastic? I think we have some in inventory. We'll get Steve to check on that for you. And I wish the prices would go higher. Paying more makes me feel elegant and elite. Plus, it pushes all the brokies out of the hobby. You were gonna piss some people off with that comment. Meeks in that
everybody except Hasbro and Mattel.
Hasbro. I think Commander Bly secretly works for Hasbro, but that's another story. What's up, Meeks? Always coming in and supporting the channel. We got Judge Dredd. What's up, man? Always hanging out. Good evening. I'm not broke, just not a fool. I agree with that statement.
That is a true statement.
The director never saw a Wick movie.
That's gotta change.
Oh boy,
that has to change.
Sees the director. What's up? I'm playing Fortnite while hearing you. I'm ready for this. Okay, just don't. We want you to win that, man. We want you to be first place. So if there's some distractions, turn that video game off and put your eyes towards us, man. But we appreciate you tuning in and multitasking. We love it. Okay, well, let's get started, folks. And that is John Wick. Man, wow. Who would have thought this movie out of nowhere comes in and dominates the box office? And hey, there's going to be a spoiler alert, Judge Dredd. I'm sorry. There's literally 4 of them, so we have to talk about it. But who would have thought a dog killing would equate to such passionate revenge story? And after 4 of amazing John Wick films, we thought he was hanging up the boots, or should I say the weapons, but the rumor mill is flying. And is he back for 5? So first, before we get into this, do we want to see a John Wick 5?
Yes.
All right, move on. Next segment. Hasbro.
They haven't disappointed so far.
Well, that's not entirely true. Everything within John Wick is great. It's when they start doing the extras outside of John Wick that haven't lived up to it. So that's the problem, is the universe itself, they haven't held up to it. But everything that Keanu Reeves is in, every movie, I don't think I've ever seen a franchise where every film got better than the original series, or the original one. Like the last one, I was like, how much action can he keep giving this guy? Like, what else can we do here but it's interesting to see if they can give us a 5. You know, this one, I think John Wick for me is kind of like in the same way. There's certain series that start and you don't think that they're gonna explode and become like franchises, and you watch the first one and it was like really good, and I can only acquaint it to if you've ever watched like Shaun of the Dead. Somebody had to tell me to watch that films, and I watched it, and then from there, anything that those guys are involved in, Edgar Wright and all the rest, I watch all their films because it just gets better and better with it. Well, the same exact thing with the John Wick film. I watched it the first time. Somebody told me, "Hey, you need to watch this film." I watched it, and then every film in the series has just gotten better and better and better. I have rarely ever seen that in this industry.
Yeah, the only thing he's got to worry about is his knee.
Yeah. And that's the thing. He had said it takes a physical toll. He's obviously much older at this point, and usually as actors and action stars get older, except for Tom Cruise, who's still doing his own stunts. But this is another level of stunts. I mean, he is literally doing full sequence Jet Li, Jackie Chan, martial arts. Do you believe that he is, going to take this on? Because he said it's like 8-10 weeks of just grinding these like fight choreography scenes, and we know the director behind it obviously did a lot of the fight choreography work for other films in the past. Do you think Keanu's going to step up and say, I'll do one more? Because that was the thing, is his body was breaking down.
They're saying it's in production, so it's the early stages of it. So yeah, I don't think they would roll the dice if they didn't have Keanu on board. Now, here's the thing. Maybe this one, they don't do as many, because he does full body stuff. The thing with John Wick is it's not just you see an upper torso from him. He's usually like diving and moving. So maybe they tone that down a little bit and play for things different in his strength in this point. Maybe we'll see a lot more of him in a car shooting or something, or somewhere where he's not running as much.
What if this is the one where he taps into the computer system and becomes like one with it, and then he doesn't have to do as many martial arts because he can control bullets and slow them down? That would be wild.
They don't want to do that. Warner Brothers never happening again for that. That's it.
What studio is John Wick?
Lionsgate.
Lionsgate.
So they need this. There's a reason why this is happening.
Yes, they need.
As a matter of fact, let's talk about John Wick 7 and 8, because the way Lionsgate's tracking, they're going to need this bad.
They would love
if they announce John Wick 6, I'm going to start a campaign to go make sure that Keanu Reeves is okay and not being held somewhere.
Maybe you'll do Steven Seagal levels fight scenes. You mean just standing and flailing his arms?
He's like 10 years older than me, and there's no way I could do any of this stuff that he's doing.
Oh, see, that's where I beg to differ. Give me that paycheck of him. It'd take me 6 to 8 weeks to get my ass in shape, and then I would be out there flipping it. You'd be like, I didn't know Mr. Storms could do those moves. Money
you said
motivates
Keanu Reeves is 10 years older than you?
That's right.
So this dude's like 31?
Something like that.
Wild.
Well, let me ask you a question on this. Obviously he's had some cameos, and then he's had some repeat actors in his films. Do you all want to see somebody in the action lore in this film? Do we want to see? We saw Donnie Yao, I think, was in the last one, right? And he was just so great as the blind hitman. Who do we want to see in John Wick 5? Is there a matchup?
Not so much a matchup, but I would like to see. I don't remember the name of the character, but Common played a character in the second movie.
Yeah,
I'd like to see that come back full circle, maybe that, because I thought he did a great job, and also he's had a little bit of vendetta with John as well. So I would like to see that actually come back. That would be kind of cool for me if you come back one last hurrah.
Another person that is on his same level, I think, doing these kind of movies is Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
She can come in and play a new character because she's right along like in Atomic Blonde. She was doing like the same kind of John Wick stuff.
Yeah. I would love to see, it might be cheesy, But the old hitman, the wise hitman, the guy that had been doing this a long time, maybe one of the first. Can we get one more cameo from Chuck Norris sitting at a bar, having a cocktail? Come on, there's de-aging. Come on, Dr.
That might
Bradley.
be what you have to do. Is have him sitting at a bar.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know if
I'm
you'll
not
be
asking-
doing anything else.
I didn't say doing any fight sequences.
You
Just
know.
sitting there and just like, saying some legendary things would be
Yeah.
kind of cool to see Chuck, man. Like, can we see him one more time? And this is the perfect setup. No, you don't buy it? Oh man, come on. Give Mr. Norris some respect here.
No. I definitely give him some respect. I just don't know if they could write him into the port where it worked for the lore and everything.
You know what I think would be badass is if Halle Berry made a return.
Oh, that's cool.
As well as Mr. Nobody, because you could have a legitimate like dogfight between those two. And then I think it's only responsible. Judge Dredd said, "Aren't these people too old to like?"
Hey man, don't be talking.
Wesley Snipes look good,
Wesley
brother.
Snipes is good.
Hey, don't be messing with Blade, man.
But I think Akira should come back because she had such a short play, like, and her father was such a pivotal part of John Wick and him dying. And I don't think they got into that character too much. And so I really think that it's one of those things where, like, I think a Mr. Nobody and Halle Berry's character returning would be like phenomenal. I think Halle Berry's character was like Sophia or something like that. I think that should be a comeback, but Akira should be definitely something on the top.
Actually, you know what? Now that you said that, I am shocked that they didn't use that character in a spinoff before they just created a brand new character in the ballerina. Because you would think that you had somebody who had a lot of screen time with John Wick already. Their kind of early days and stories were kind of convoluted, but we didn't know that much about it. And the dogs were fucking awesome. So, in a lot of ways, you're going to have to talk about why didn't they do that other than just to throw a brand new character in and, it just makes you want to think about how they've done the universe completely compared to how they're doing the regular series.
Yeah. Judge Dredd Hollywood said Wesley was way too old, not me. Yeah, I know. Like people did like discrediting Wesley. He looked really good in Deadpool, Wolverine.
I want to see an old Blade.
Yeah, they should literally make a Blade from like when he's older. Like,
Roger Moore was James Bond when he was 57. So, we can be some old actors doing some of this stuff. It's Hollywood magic.
It is.
Well,
it is
Harrison
magic.
Ford was how old in the last Indiana Jones?
Dude, he's 82.
Yeah, I mean, and Tom Cruise in his.
He ain't a young dude no more, bro.
No, he's 60 something.
Yeah, so Wesley will always be Blade, 100%.
Absolutely.
This is awesome because it's rarity. It's a rarity where an actor can create a character and turn it into a successful franchise where after 4 or 5 it doesn't become like, are you kidding me? And so are we at that stage now where it's like, okay, how many more are you gonna make, right? Or as long as he pumps them out with good fight sequences, that he'll be forever until his bones break, right? Is 5 too much, or do we feel like, I know Lionsgate wants it
because imagine Rocky, right? It was like 1 and 2 were good. 3, you start getting to the over the top stuff. 4 was completely nuts, and then 5 was just bad. But this is a trajectory that I haven't seen where it just keeps getting better and more complicated, more interesting fight scenes and stunts.
Well, I think the reason why that is too is that they don't rush John Wick films. A lot of times they'll just, the minute one's done, it's just like we were talking about Gunn Superman. He's already, in next March, he's already shooting the next one. That gives you ways to say, okay, how well is that story? Now, when you're doing with John Wick, they make sure that story is solid for those films. And then they start talking about ramping up actors and everything. And that's, I think, the reason why that series is good. It's not an afterthought of the story. It's the main objective. It's the story.
Yep. Sees the director. Blade movies are haunted. There's never going to be another one. And
Never.
yeah, I mean, 100%. We don't know. And then Commander Bly waiting for the John Wick animated series.
Oh, you know what?
Woo, that would be great.
That would be
Yes.
dope.
Yeah.
Put on
I
HBO
felt
Max
like
or something.
I felt like they should have done the spinoff. What was the one
Continental?
they should have done
Or
that as
Ballerina?
animated because that
Yeah.
was not
Yeah.
great. And they could have done a really great animated version of that. The Ballerina was good, but the Continental had a lot of opportunity, unfortunately. So, but I don't think people kind of remember, like, because Keanu he didn't even make an appearance in that show. So
Yeah,
I
true.
think people don't really attach that too much to him. They definitely do with Ballerina. But any thoughts on John Wick? So it seems like everyone's thumbs up on this, and I think the rumor mill is really strong, and that this is going to be made. I think my only curiosity would be, is Keanu not in any Marvel or DC coming up if he's shooting Wick? That could tell us that they didn't put him as Ghost Rider, or he's not going to be all these various rumors that he was going to take on some type of action star in the Marvel or DCU, which would be a bummer because I definitely want to see him as Ghost Rider.
I think they've got an opportunity because by the time they're done shooting this first Avengers movie, there'll still be some time. It takes them 8 to 9 weeks to ramp up. Chances are it's probably going to go a little further because John will probably need a little, or Keanu Reeves will need a little rehab and everything throughout those weeks. So I don't see them shooting this next John Wick until like maybe the end of next year. So I think he has ample opportunity to do a cameo somewhere in a Marvel film. I think it could happen.
Well, and if Marvel, if he's not going to show up in Doomsday or Secret Wars, and it's just going to be like after that, then there's years that he's got before they start shooting anything.
Yep. Cyberpunk, 100%.
It would be.
It sucks, man, because Cyberpunk, when it first came out, obviously was a bit of a disaster because, Chat, I think at the time you did some reviews and you were doing some live streams with that. But as you recall, like, there was so much hype in it, just so many issues with it. And then it, like, later on actually got fixed and people are playing it, and it was like a cool concept. I just think it would be expensive as hell to make that movie, because you're thinking of think of like Blade Runner with another $75 million on top of it to make it the way it should be. But I would love a Cyberpunk. I thought the concept was so cool. We'll see. Chet, you remember that was
I think Cyberpunk had a lot of potential, but like you said, like they released it. It was virtually unplayable on consoles. You couldn't do it. Meeks and I actually were talking about that. I had Meeks on when I was live streaming that over on my YouTube channel, and it was one of those things where it's like, man, they got to do something fast, and they didn't. I don't think they did it fast enough. It's cool to have Keanu Reeves in it. But yeah, it was just horrible. And then they fixed it, and it's like, wow, this is actually a really cool game. But everybody just didn't care by the time they fixed it. So it was a bummer. But I do agree, though. It would be an amazing movie franchise, and it would be a really, really good comic franchise if they would just expand on it. But I think it would almost have to be in the manga or manga or maja, however you want to say it. But it's still good.
Yep. Well, we're all excited for Wick, and hey, I know the people watching live are subscribed, and they're following the socials and in the Discord. But for those of you who might be watching on the replay, subscribe, hit the Discord button, get in there, join the chat, join the community, Instagram. Again, we appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button. So, without further ado, it's one of our favorite topics on our show, and you know what? It might be time to review some toys.
Leave the McFarlane. Take the Mezco.
Do you think there'll ever be a point in time where we take the McFarlane thing off just to try to get him on
Yeah,
the guest?
as I
Just be like-
just sit there, I
I'm
start
just
thinking to
like-
myself, he's never coming
Yeah.
on.
We should see if we could change that to leave the Super 7.
I was gonna say all of a sudden it's gonna be like leave the Super 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every week we should probably actually change it up because
How
God
about-
knows
how about
Todd does
lose-
serve that.
Lose the Funko. Get the Mezco. That's a pretty safe bet. I'm
Well,
pretty
you-
sure.
You
Yeah.
come to my house with Super 7.
Well, like I said, Mr. Maddox, want to
Yeah.
run down our 3-tier system, sir?
Oh yeah, let's do it. And by the way, it is a well trusted and verified by tens of people.
Yes.
Our 3-tier rating system is number uno, which is the best. It's a made figure. This is something that we all think you should buy because we're buying it. And hey, forget about it. You got to buy this. If you don't buy this, we don't know what's wrong with you. Then you have the forget about it, and that one is that while we think it's a good figure, it's not our cup of tea. We're not going to get it. Now, this is not a collective this is each individual one of us will go through and tell everyone what we want. But forget about it. It's still a great figure. It's just not one that we're going to get. Needs to sleep with the fishes. I mean, it's in the words. We don't think it's a good figure. And you probably shouldn't get it. None of us are going to get it. It's to sleep with the fishes. And every now and then we get something that hits our secret one. And that, well, we just pull that up as it comes out. And that one is realistically like, give it some brick shoes and make sure it just doesn't float up to never be seen again. So that is our 3-tier system. And McFarlane and Walmart just charged me for the MK2 pack exclusives. Arrives the 23rd. I can't wait. That is fantastic. However, that comment is a little weird to me because I thought that Walmart charges you as soon as you purchase it.
They usually do, but I don't know. Maybe it was something else. I don't know. Walmart keeps changing everything, anytime, every situation. They don't even know what they did. They probably were supposed to charge them if they got to. Walmart.
Well, that's the thing. See, McFarlane's making actually some pretty good figures lately. You know, there's some misses, but we definitely got to change that. So we'll get Steve to change it to Funko or Super 7.
Yeah,
Although Super 7 has some hits too, so I think Funko's the safe bet.
Well, McFarlane had some hits too, but we use them anyways.
Yeah. Todd might be in LA, so we should change it very quickly.
Absolutely, yeah.
We don't want beef.
Todd won't be there. Don't worry about that. Todd won't be there. Well, like I said again, tonight we're gonna have an open discussion, kind of continuing from the Toy Box Chronicles, but we wanted to get you guys' opinion, Rad, and also Dr. Brentley's opinion about the Hasbro price hikes. And I don't know if anybody else. I know, Rad, you get up early as hell because you're usually hitting all of us up about ordering. But the first time we noticed this price hike was when they had the Emperor Doom that came up on Hasbro Pulse in the morning. It was for $24.99, and a bunch of people got it for $24.99. I wasn't one of them, but they got it for $24.99. And then within a couple hours, somebody at Hasbro thought about this. Said, "Oh, wait a minute, we're supposed to go up to the new price," and it jumped to $27.99. So now for their baseline figures, this is just your standard figures. Comes with a couple of accessories and some weapons. Nothing crazy, not the triple heads and not the double packs. Now it's starting at $27.99. We know that that's going to jump. Everything else in the line will be $27.99 or up. What do you think this new price hike does to, your collector mentality, but also maybe you've heard chatter of something everyone else is overall collecting issues?
Yeah, I mean, I think everything is going up in price. I mean, I'm getting Apple TV just sent. They're going up $3, and every single thing you read, it's going up. So it's not unique to action figures. That's just the global economy that it's happening. So you have to anticipate it. I think it probably, for me as a collector, won't change the way I buy the stuff that I really want. Like if I want Doom, $24.99, $27.99. I don't think that's going to say, well, I'm not going to get it this time. It will change the way I go. I'm on the fence. Maybe I'll pick it up because it's starting to get to like, why in the heck? I mean, it's already $24.99 is pretty damn expensive on a figure that you're like, it'd be a nice to have.
Yeah.
So in the realm of pre-order mafia, the forget about it middle section, when it starts to get to $27.99, becomes, for me, it should be a made figure at that price.
Okay.
And that's where I think it's going to impact me and a lot of other collectors, because soon it'll start to be $29.99. And then we know some of the premium stuff, the Max series, and is way more expensive. At some point, you're going to say, I can't do it. And if you're someone who wants to buy the whole wave of a Marvel Legends line, you know, $28 per figure is ludicrous. Let's just be honest. So not being cheap, it's just, and then forget the families and kids. You know, we're talking collectors. Imagine a little kid rolling into the Walmart, 4 or 5 kids with a, a single mom. She gonna buy a $27.99 figure, a Spider-Man figure? Not happening.
Well,
so
imagine if they really like the Fantastic Four. It's like, oh, you can't get all 4. You got to choose one.
Choose. Yep.
And I think that a way to combat this price, by the way, is that if it's something like Fantastic Four, I think that they would do a lot if they released like the Fantastic Four family pack, and it was like each figure was discounted by like $10. Because I think you would sell that, but you would also get through it more. Now I know that they probably won't do that, and that's fine. But I'm just saying that I think it would help with what Sees the director is saying, which is Ross is going to be extra lit this holiday season with the prices. But I do just think that if you can start incentivizing buying like a full line over individuals, it would help. Now you don't want to get into the hostage pack situation, but I think that you should offer a limited run of something or some version of that, but I don't know.
And if you're going to raise it a little bit like this, I think they should just throw in like a little extra something, like one more effect or one more set of hands or one more head than usual, just so you actually feel like you're getting something, and it wouldn't be that much detrimental to their price point.
Yeah, I mean, they've gone away from a lot of the Build-A-Figure stuff on the Marvel line. Hasbro's American company pay more at pair property. You don't like. Look, Commander Blood definitely works for Hasbro.
He does.
I mean, that sounds like the most marketing line I've ever.
Yeah.
I'm proud to be an American. Let me get my wallet.
That's like Hasbro gangster talk. It's right there. Like, we're just like, you're just buying the figure. Shut your mouth. Buy the figure.
Yeah.
Look, I think there are very interesting points about this. You and I, we've talked about this a lot. Where it's like, I think now it's becoming where at one point toys were very leisure. It was like you went, you didn't think about it, you bought something that was cool. Maybe it was right around the $14.99 area where you didn't miss that. At $27, you're missing it, and you're starting to realize, like, especially when they're doing something where they're hitting us like they did, just this week where they dropped 10 Marvel Legends. It's like, now you're like, because we went through this, I did, I know Mr. Maddox did. It was like, I'm not getting that one, I'm not getting that one. I'm going to wait till that gets on the shelf. And also, just a little hint on some of these comic book wave ones. The comic book wave one now is in Target, and Miles Morales is at like $14.99, and a couple other characters are at $12.99. Play the long game a little bit. Don't just rush out and pick it up at the 27 price, because I can guarantee you when another wave comes out, Target and Walmart, or if you can ever find anything at Walmart, they will immediately start discounting figures to get them off the shelf. So, it's going to require a little patience, but also, we're going to have to teach Hasbro and Mattel and these companies how, as a consumer, we want items to be shipped out, and sometimes leaving on the shelf and like, the director said, taking it over to Ross is also I'm already paying $199 for the Titan over at the $250 plus shipping for the Transformers. What's $29 really? Which he has a point. And also, I know that Transformer Day is coming up, and he said they were releasing more Titans that were coming up. So, bro, save that pocketbook because it's coming.
I gotta say, I'm so thankful. I have a few of the DLX. Transformers. Chet gave me the the best one, and I have Optimus. But I'm glad I don't collect Transformers. That is a very pricey
Yeah.
Yes.
hobby.
I
That
will-
is such a price. Like and then all the variants and the high end stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
it's crazy, and they're beautiful. But I'm glad
Yeah.
I didn't dip my toe in the water there because
Yes.
literally I'd be broke.
I had to make a very hard decision to like cut out Transformers because I love Transformers. I will eventually-
except the vintage ones that you pay like premium for. What are you talking about? You cut them out. Like every time we go to a convention.
So, like I was saying, I had to look at.
I had to cut everything else. I'm like, oh wait,
Except for
is that an original? Wait, is that G1? Yeah, I'll take them all. Like what?
Yeah. Well, that's the problem. Is I'm like I really like the G1 stuff, and so yes, I do pay a lot for G1s, as pointed out by my esteemed colleague over here. However, what I'm saying is that I love everything that they've been releasing. I think they've been doing a fantastic job, and I just have to not look at them because Leo Kaiser, I wanted to back that. I didn't do it. I miss Unicron, and I still look at Unicrons. I'm like, yeah, 2,700 isn't a lot of money, and I know that that's a problem. So I just don't look at Unicrons because I will buy a Unicron. And so look, Transformers. I had to back out of that gracefully because I just didn't want to deal with it. I don't even know what the prices are going to be getting to with this new like price change.
Yeah.
Commander Blythe says, but Transformers are 2 or more toys in one, so actually they're half the price of a regular toy. Definitely not Hasbro Bowl.
You know what? What I will
that
say,
thinking works.
I will say, we're obviously we're not sponsored by any of the Holy Grail toys, but like it's different. Holy Grail toys is not. They don't sell the thousands and the millions of toys, but you know, Big Bad Toy Store, if you check now, a lot of the Legends, a lot of the Joes are currently on sale. A lot of the Hot Toys are on sale. I think we've gone past this initial tariff wave, and you're starting to see some discounts. So I think, as Mr. Storm said, sometimes you just wait a little bit and see. Now, I'd advise for the really good stuff, the Dooms, the Ghost Riders, the Deadpools, you know, it's a rarity those things become available, so you probably want to get those at start. The Joe stuff, Mr. Storm, there's a couple things you just can't wait to, you just got to order it or you'll never get your hands on it. But a lot of this other stuff, give it a month, give it 2, and then you start to see 15% off, 20% off. It might pop up in other retailers. So I think it is still a waiting game. It for sure is. But I just recently checked Big Bad Toy Store. I would say a good 30% of the stuff that's released over the past 6 months is on discount now.
True.
And good stuff. Good stuff. We're talking about like really good Marvel Legends pieces. So,
and also too, we've been checking all the Rosses online and everything else like that. That Marvel Legends Strange Tale Wave, it's been popping up. We've seen, matter of fact, Mr. Maddox and I were both talking about that. We've seen some stuff at Ross that I couldn't believe. There was a lot of these San Diego Comic-Con exclusives that non-Hasbro's been popping up. But also I saw like, the Black Adam McFarlane statue. Something that was like $149 was there for like $30. A Flash statue. Like I've seen things that popped up at Ross that we were like, well, what the hell's wrong with our Ross? Because we can't find this stuff. Because we would blow our category, bro.
You know what you rarely do not see? And it's like literally few and far between, is Bandai Monster Arts Godzilla stuff rarely goes on sale. The premium stuff, sometimes you'll find some deals, but
every now and then
the good stuff, you know,
rarely.
Premium stuff, you just got to pay up. You got to pay up. And we work with Bandai. It's okay. Because I believe that. We ain't paid to say that, but I will say, you don't get to, it's hard to find the cheap stuff at the premium quality. That's what I'm saying. And sometimes these figures that we're talking about Hasbro wise, they're kind of cheap. And so, like Dr. Brantley said, no second head sculpt, no set of hands. What's going on here? Why am I paying $28?
Sure. See, Director also said Black Friday and holiday season is when I go to all of the I go to all out on those sales. And you know what? I think before, because again, I'm seeing stuff flooding in now I think before Black Friday hits, I think the month of October, like you're going to be walking out of there like you just like, you know, robbed the bank with stuff coming out jars because it's flowing all over the place if you're in a good area. But we know the CD director's in Florida, so he's having our same problems that we're having here on the West Coast. But it should start trickling down pretty soon, man. So, you know, hey, I'm going to say like you did, Rad, hey, there's a lot of figures from Hasbro's line, even G.I. Joe's. I got to do some forget about it because, you know, I can't just keep like, you know, dropping $27 on every figure every time. So there's a lot of picking and choosing. Mr. Maddox and I went through a whole pre-order purge. You know, we should do that actually for One Toy Box Chronicle. Just go on and see the stuff and we take them out and just show a pre-order purge live. But we did that, and it's like, look, do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? I've never really kind of done that before majorly, but there was a lot of major items like I got to get rid of this. I can't do that. That's the first time this came up. And,
same. Literally, we're ready to process the order, and I was reluctant on a few and said no, thank you.
Absolutely.
So, yeah,
we can tell Commander Bly works for Bandai as well.
That's right. Well, you got to remember too, like you know, Bandai does a lot of not just like they do a lot of different lines, right? So
absolutely,
Star Wars. Bandai's got Star Wars license. So all right. Well, I think next up on the pre-order moth. Oof. Look, the boxes and the packages have been really badass for the Hasbro Legends team. They have upped their game on the boxes. So if you're an inbox collector, they've knocked it out of the park. Let's be honest.
And I think that's, if I'm not mistaken, on the side of that packaging, the Death Bird, I think that's Joe Magnaera, the artist of the influence. Yeah. So that looks like it. So yeah, they've done it. I love how they influenced this kind of line of artwork on the boxes. It makes, if you're an inbox collector, really worth it. But this is the 2-pack. Death Bird and Gladiator, and if you've been collecting any of the Marvel Legend X-Men series, the Shi'ar series, where they're more or less taken from the Jim Lee era, where they're in gold and blue, this is another set of figures that they've been releasing, and this one has usually been a better one when they've dropped on the fan channels and Amazon, and actually Hasbro Pulse. More people seem to be able to purchase those, but September 18th, keep that clocked in at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do believe this 2-pack is going to actually sell out. I don't think this is going to linger too long because a lot of people have enjoyed, like I said, the Shi'ar series that they've been building out for those special X-Men teams. So, gentlemen, is this a made figure, or is this a forget about it, or is this swimming with the fishes?
Well, they haven't made a Gladiator figure in a while either, just to say. Sorry, Dr. Brantley, but it's been a while since we've seen a Gladiator figure.
True, but
I don't even know who these characters are.
Yeah.
What?
X-Men, you know, the X-Men is too many things going on with it. I watched the movies and some of the animation. But
this is, I will tell you, this actual arc, the Shi'ar arc, is probably like, you know, not only do you have Jim Lee, you had Will Spertatio drawing that book, and Larry Stroman through X. They had some of the best 90s artists work on these books across that line. There was so many great, that was at the height when like artists was at the point. So, you know, Mr. Maddox will probably send you over some comics and everything so you can check out these. But it is, look, these are way more articulated than last time I remember looking at Gladiator. And I don't remember if they've done a Death Bird in the past. So that's something that I would have to be point. But, you know, again, if you built all those series up with the X-Men, you're going to want to have these two characters combined with it. But Mr. Maddox, is this getting some cement, or is this one actually getting the little pin lapel?
I really feel like I need these figures, but for me, it's probably a forget about it. But it's very close to purchasing. But yeah, I don't know. There's some. I mean, and the reason why is because like, I have to be careful with this new releases that they did this past week, because there are some ones that are a definite one. I'm sure we'll get into it, but so this forget about it. But I can be convinced otherwise.
One guy said, "Don't quite put that hit on him yet." Yeah, don't put that hit on yet. And everything. I'm thinking about it. Rad, this one is actually you're going for these two.
I think forget about it. I like the Gladiator figure
Okay.
out of the two. I think going back to there's just a ton of pre-orders coming, so I'm gonna have to prioritize what I want. But I do think it's a cool 2-pack, and this is a rare commodity. It's not like they pump out these figures left and right. So if you're a Marvel collector, this is of interest to you. It's not like it's another Spider-Man releasing. And I think to your point, you'll get your hands on this on Amazon. Amazon's really good, at least is like ordering. Now, what shape it comes in the box is a different story, but in terms of the actual ordering process, they're actually pretty good. So it's a forget about it for me. It's good.
Okay.
It's not like I gotta have it, but it's a nice to have.
Okay.
If you get it through Amazon, ignore the black around the box. That's not going to be there. It's going to be all scuffed up.
Well, like again, September 18th next week at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when you can actually get in the queue and actually check out a couple of the Instagram pages. Anybody has a link and everything, because that's usually the Amazon links are usually kind of hidden. It's usually hard to find them first thing in the morning. So look at any of the sites and everything and see if you can actually find those. From there, not a 2-pack, but 2 characters dropping, which Mr. Maddox and I have already deemed that they're made figures. But on September 19th, get up early in the morning, just like the Gap Band, got to get up early in the morning because the Fall Geek Out, this one is going to be refresh your page, do everything you can. Mr. Maddox has an actual secret remedy of how to actually order these. But these 2 characters, I do believe, will sell out, and they're usually going to be a little bit hard to get back in stock. You may have to wait months in order to get them back in stock. But Mr. Maddox, what's your secret technique for the ungeeking of the Fall Geek Out Club?
Yeah, you just go to Target Geek Out and load the page the night before, and then when it goes live, you just refresh. It's right there. You click on it, you buy it, and hope that they didn't put it up for $345,000.
Well, your credit card's probably not going to go through if that happens, so you'll instantaneously understand that part. But they've got Mystique in the retro card back. The retro card backs, they have been doing a really good job with those. The artwork is phenomenal, and actually most of those characters have all been. I remember last year there was a Gambit character that everybody was running after Rogue that almost no one could get a hold of. But then they had the Savage Land Professor X. And that seems I still see Professor X still on counters places, but I don't believe that the Storm and the Mystique will definitely be on counters long. So, Dr. Brentley, any of these characters? I know you're not an X-Men fan. We just proved that last segment.
No, but these look great.
There you go.
These are classic characters that I know. I've heard of these 2, and both of these sculpts look amazing. Now, these are for $27.99 also?
Chances are, yes. A couple of weeks ago, they would have been $24.99, but no.
Like in a box, I can see that price. On a card back like this, it seems like this should be a little bit less.
Okay, I'll give you that. You got a point. It seems like they're saving on a little bit of box and plastic and everything else. So, yeah, I more than understand that for you. That's a very valid argument. But
Storm doesn't even come with a second head.
Yeah, true.
It doesn't matter. That's a cool head sculpt, and I love the hair. Like that's one of the coolest Storms, for sure.
Yeah,
Mystique is like I don't know because there's like there's other Mystiques that you can get in various other waves. True. I mean, it's cool. I like the card back, but I think that Storm is super unique. That's a cool figure.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, so we've got a couple of Sleep with the Fishes and some made figures, or all made figures for everybody down the line.
I think I'm made for me for Storm and forget about it for Mystique.
Okay. It's like thank God it's not in a double pack; it'd be the hostage pack, like Darth Moocher always says.
Would be a hostage pack, yeah.
Yeah, it would be. So, but make sure again you set your clocks and everything. September 19th, so you got the 18th. Amazon and Hasbro Pulse and fan channels, and then you've only got the Target on the 18th, which is a Friday. And got to be ready for those. So, and actually, I'll be honest with you, looking at the Fall Geek Out, I think this is the two best packs from everything from all the other weeks. I think if you get these two, there's no reason to keep going on for the extra weeks.
No, well,
So,
like today's Fall
yes.
Geek Out was just.
Yeah. It was just, it was again,
Yeah.
this is the reason why we probably won't be on the show, because that statement in the beginning clip matters to this week for Fall Geek Out.
Yeah.
So from there, everything, we're going to pull up plasticnews.com, which is our news channel over here. So make sure that you guys are going over to Plastic News. But right now, you don't have to do that because Mr. Maddox is going to pull up this character. Mr. Maddox, take it away.
Yeah, so we got the pre-order coming up for Hiya Toys. They unveil the Godzilla pre-order, which is, this thing is the Behemoth, the King of Monsters 2019 Behemoth action figure. The articulation on this looks kind of nuts. But yeah, I know that this is kind of like in your realm and Rad's realm.
Yes,
I
sir.
think. I don't know. I was excited when I saw this, but it's. This is like we had an episode where we talked about shelf space.
Yep.
Like this is just like a figure by itself that just you have problems with shelf space. Rad, I know that you have a few like big figures because you and I like to collect like big figures. Like where would you put this? And Judge said he ordered Behemoth. I don't blame you.
There you go.
Yeah, it's epic. I just, again, to your point, I've got a lot of Zilla figures. I got a few that are on pre-order for next year. I don't have room. I really don't. I don't have room to put these things, man. Like it's too much.
I will give you that. It's hard for look, you've got to have some just we'll do Godzilla 101. You've got to have Godzilla. You got to have his rowing partner, my man Rodan, and everything else like that. Maybe a Mothra that he kicks it with, or get a roar. And then you start getting down once you like, okay, well, let me start picking and choosing. But I have to say that Hyra has done some really, really great figures. And I saw one of the Godzillas from the Godzilla movie that was a Hyra that was Ada Ross. And I was like, man, I would have knocked something else off the shelf for that one. I think the articulation they do is fantastic. The scope is great. And it looks like something that they could have used actually in the film. It has that same quality. So, it's tough. I'm glad that Judge was in here tonight to say, yeah, I ordered that, because I do know that the rise of kaijus and everyone purchases them is a real thing, because it's coming all over the place. And Commander Bly said, dude, that looks great. And actually, I see right here, Judge Dredd says that I always wanted that fig. See, when you can get a figure that you want and they make, it feels like the community's listening to you. And look, I'm a big kaiju fan. Godzilla is next to, once you get to G.I. Joe and Batman, Godzilla's right there next in the collection scenario. So this one, I'm on the fence, because it's like, yeah, I do want it, but what am I kicking off my shelf for it? And again, Rodan ain't getting off the shelf, bro.
He is 6.5 inches, so he's not gigantic, but
he's not huge.
Yeah, but he's big.
Yeah,
so.
But I do notice that this line and a couple of other characters, and of course our one of our sponsors, Bandai, which I am anticipating some of these Bandai Godzillas, because again, I'm already calling my realtor I think I'm outgrowing my house, and I'm thinking about another G.I. Joe room and a Godzilla room. So
Well, the problem with Bandai is most of the stuff that at least that I have for kaiju, Godzilla, most of the stuff is the articulation isn't great. It's more display piece, right? Or photography.
Yes.
The SH Monster Arts line, it's crazy articulated for a kaiju. And it's just it's nuts that you can do Godzilla and put Hedorah and pose, and you could do, it's just insane. Thankfully, their figures are not crazy large. You can get some crazy large ones.
Yeah.
But over time, look, man, the kaijus don't deserve to be in the box. They deserve to be out displayed. And that goes back to the shelf space problem. As an inbox collector, you can't put those inside a box in a closet. They got to be displayed. And you can only have too many Godzillas before you're like, man, I ain't got no room for anything else. So
Actually, but actually, Judge Red, I will savagely. There's like 6 kaijus, but you got to have a Kong, especially one with like the battle axe. He's got to be.
You need Kong.
That's the thing, man. Not Donkey Kong, King Kong. Man. You gotta definitely have him there, but
barrel axe, it's the same.
No, it's not the same.
Donkey Kong versus King Kong. Hell, are you?
How about Donkey Kong versus Godzilla? That's what I want to see.
That's a real beat.
Wait, hold on. Universal has the rights to King Kong, correct?
I don't know if they do anymore. I don't know if it's dual because Legendary now has it. So I don't know if it's a dual rightage. I don't know, but I know that he's getting ready for that new Godzilla movie.
Well, I'm just gonna say because Universal has got the Super Mario realm, so I would love to see King Kong versus Donkey Kong. We were talking about $1 billion box office right there, merging the video game monkey with the legendary gorilla. So.
Judge Red says, my toys are the masters of collecting dust. Mr. Maddox has an actual anti-dust machine that I've seen as the most powerful thing I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, I've actually got to get that. It almost knocked the shelf down. Just was able to blow. Yeah.
So it's like...
I was going to say, how about instead we have just a couple of plumbers going up against King Kong?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that is true. It's probably like the super of their building.
So just to put it in perspective, folks, this is how the collection started with the little Godzilla, right? You're like, he's so cute.
Yeah.
And then it got to this stage at this point. You know what I mean? Like where the hell are you putting more of these bad boys? You know what I'm saying? So
again, they get their own room, right? You just getting to the point where you walk in, this is a Godzilla room. It's like a giant Godzilla head that you walk into.
Your daughter wouldn't mind, right? Just put them up high so she can't get to them, and they'll be looking down at her every night.
Yeah,
it'll be fine.
I agree. See, you're so smart, Dr. Brantley, because if my wife looks at me and she goes, "Is that a 12-foot Godzilla?" I go, "Yeah, but I got my daughter one too."
There you go.
By the way, Kid Robot.
I have that one, but bigger, and it vibrates. It like shakes.
Something about that show with took
have to tell us that.
Really bad kind of thing on that one.
It's a hell of a party trick.
Wow. And like I said, Judge Red City also has that gets some booted off for that one. Whoa, man. Whoa. It was like
that's the other thing too, Judge Red. You said about dinosaurs. I've always wanted because I was a big dinosaur, as a kid. I think most kids are into dinos.
Yes.
I've seen people's collections on IG of their Jurassic Park stuff. It's so amazing, but that's where are you gonna put those? You need a room for the I love those pieces of they're more statues, I think, but I go to Target and they still have some of the the John Hammond lines and stuff. They're cool figures, man.
Let's go to Ross, brother. You get that's the exclusive home of the Hammond collection.
I had this desire to get a full collection of Dino Riders.
Yeah, I remember.
And that is just a lot of money. And then I saw this dude on Instagram that Rad sent me, and I was like, I have no desire now to collect Dino Riders because I'll never have this collection.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, there's usually kind of guys that do collections. They have the drop the mic moment. That's like our buddy over at the Sarlacc. Whenever you just think about the Scott Solo just does a show and I don't even want this stuff anymore, man.
I was super pumped about my mask collection. And I watched Scott Solo show his off, and I was like, I bet I could probably box mine up now.
Exactly. He just kills that whole situation. But yeah, man, I think they're doing great stuff, especially with Bandai. I think Hyra is doing some really great stuff too, not just their kaiju stuff, but I do like that they've actually kept that line going even when there's no films that are coming out. They've really kind of been producing and driving that stuff up. I love that stuff from them, man.
I have a storage mainly for Jurassic Park collection. Yeah, I mean, you need it. You need the space.
Yeah. Okay. Dials for my dinos on the table and have a lot of space. Yeah. You know what? I just now that he just said something, Mr. Maddox and I, we kind of run a Studio 112 FX. And you know what? I gotta think we gotta do some kaijus and some Hammond dinosaurs out somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we might have to start taking up that game a little bit more. I know, you know, like Sir Dork and like, you know, like a couple other guys actually take those photos, but we may have to ramp that up, bro. I'm starting to look at that.
And if you get too many, you just have to go to site B, and
Yeah,
that's where you put, you know, your next starting collection. Of
Just
dinosaurs.
have like an in between that plays the Jurassic Park song while you're driving to the next one. Dinosaurs.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? Like I said again, we were seeing this a couple of weeks. We teased this, and we have decided to retire SKN News. It served us well, like many other things and everything. We thank them for its years of service, but now we have something completely different and something more exciting. And we'll just roll the intro for them. That's right. Plastic News now replaces SKN News. Plastic News on SKN, powered by plasticnews.com, your trusted source in all things entertainment, comics, and toys. Plastic News. So, you know, let's run through some stuff. And like we always start over here, we like to have a good time every time. And guess what? We started this off a little differently this year, but it started with the buckets. Damn straight, it seemed like it's going to end with some buckets. We've got it. That's right. You got a friend in popcorn, right? Damn it. Celebrating the 30th anniversary of Toy Story, which they're actually putting back September 12th. That's today. Back into theaters. You can actually go to an AMC or a Regal, and you can pick up this actual popcorn. You've got a couple ones, but I'm more interested in the light up cups. Because I was like, well, that is kind of cool, especially if you're sitting in, you know, ever been in a movie theater and annoyed the heck out of somebody because you turned your phone on? Well, that's going to be all throughout anyway with the light up cups throughout the presentation. But chances are kids won't mind if you're taking them, but, you know, grown-ups will. But to celebrate the 30th anniversary, they've got,
Wow.
Yeah, I know, 30 years.
30 years.
That went by quick, didn't it?
Jeez.
Wow. Yeah. And actually, you know, Pixar, this movie right here is the thing that saved animation again. You know, so interesting. But you can get a popcorn bucket with Woody and Buzz Lightyear, the two most famous characters on the world. They didn't bother putting the rest of the guys on there, I guess. And you get some ones with the toppers. The popcorn bucket comes with actually the topper as well. And then again, it comes up with several light up actual cups. And at this moment, you can go over to your AMC theaters or your Regal. And we know our Regal over here was supplying popcorn buckets and all kind of things. So chances are this is one of those things you definitely want to get. Anybody, now I know, Rad, you're the one of the few guys with the kiddo. You're going to take them in and everything and have her watch the Toy Story and get some popcorn buckets and some drinks?
I think we'll watch the movie, but I'm not sure about the popcorn bucket. We'll see. How much is this thing? $90?
You know, no, they didn't do it. No, if you go on eBay, it's 90.
Yeah,
But,
we'll see. The cup is cool. I like the little sipper cup with the character.
I believe
topper.
it was under 30 for the buckets initially.
We'll see. But I love that they're
I don't
releasing
know.
in the theaters.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was nice to sometimes see one of those on the big screen. And it has a way of, like, you know, if you 30 years from today, somebody probably was a kid when they saw it, and now adult with kids now that's able to go in there. So we'll see that. But that we're not done with buckets, bro. Because they got one that even I thought, like, okay, this was a stretch, but I give them credit for this. That's right, the bucket that we didn't think that they would make, they're making. If you remember the first Spinal Tap movie, you're really old. If you remember this one,
the worst popcorn bucket ever made.
I think
it goes to 11.
I think it's funny that this is their popcorn bucket, and I think they did it completely on purpose.
I think they did. I think they did too. But AMC Theaters is releasing a limited edition popcorn bucket and a collectible cup of the new Spinal Tap sequel. That's right, Spinal Tap: The End Continues, which is hitting theaters yesterday, September 11th, which was kind of a little bit on the so side to put it out on that date. But the merchandise is available for purchase alongside large popcorn drink with the popcorn tin costing I just like Spinal Tap is very reasonable. $14.99. I don't think you can actually get a 10 and an actual thing of popcorn for that. And the collector's cup, which is just a drink, actually costs you $15.99. So that's where they're making that bucks. That's where they're making their bucks back. But you can actually, I know sometimes you can get it from AMC Theater or AMC.com, but also it says on the official Spinal Tap social media channel. So, check out there. But if you're a fan of the original, chances are you're a fan of this, and they didn't give you any real merchandise other than some t-shirts back then. This might be sitting on some collector shelves.
Can we talk about how number 2 is Stonehenge? Look, I totally forgot that this was coming out.
Yeah.
Yesterday, and I'm just processing whether or not I'll have time after the show to go watch this. I love Christopher Guest. The guy is genius. I love a majority of his films. I think Spinal Tap is great. Waiting for Guffman is one of my favorite films of all time because it's especially after living in Georgia, it's like, holy shit, there are towns like this. This is so yeah, and honestly, it bothers me because Spinal Tap's music is really good.
Yeah,
it's really good. So, and then as a drummer, I appreciate the fact that the drummers always die. So
yeah, well, they do kind of go early.
I love the end continues is so genius. How is no one has ever used that before?
Exactly.
Continues
and can never use it now. That's the best part about it. So.
Yeah. Well, the only thing I think they could have done some better ideas for this. Like they should have had a mini Stonehenge with just the two things as the popcorn.
Again, like I was telling Dr. Brentley before our cast, and every chances are that's trademark of the Druids. And I don't think they allowed them to actually use it. So
this title being called The End Continues would be like if they had Never Ending Story and it was like Never Ending Story, the last chapter. You'd be like, yeah, but the end continues the end continues is fantastic.
Well, we're done with popcorn buckets, and here's Dr. Brentley's segment.
All right, Paramount and Warner Brothers are going to merge. Let's see. Paramount Skydance is reportedly preparing a takeover offer for Warner Brothers Discovery in a bid to pull together two of the largest U.S. legacy media conglomerates and Hollywood movie studios. Less than a month after Skydance, a production firm run by David Ellison, son of the billionaire tech mogul Larry Ellison, closed its merger with Paramount, the firm is considering other blockbuster deals. The two water towers finally merge into one.
Animaniacs is one of them.
That is a lot of water.
Yeah.
Yep.
Does this mean we're going to see Batman and Captain Kirk together at last?
Well,
are we gonna the crossover we never knew we needed?
Well, look, because Disney has done all this stuff that they can cross over because they have Fox and Disney now.
Yeah,
they can do the same thing here with Paramount. I mean, if you go into the vaults of Paramount and Warner Brothers, I'm sure there's plenty of stuff that you could cross over.
Yeah, I will tell you that when I saw this at first, I know it was a couple of months ago, last year sometime we were talking about this, and I thought, well, first of all, there's no way that the FCC or anything will let that happen. And Transformers and Batman would be fired. Yeah, you run with that. But I thought there's no way in the world and everything. And then we saw that you could buy the FCC. So regulatory wise, it happen now.
The reason that this is not going to be as big a problem is because Warner Brothers doesn't own any broadcast stations.
What are you talking about? TNT.
No, the problem was, Paramount doesn't. So the problem was,
so they don't consider the Paramount Network an actual broadcast.
But it's not.
They actually don't consider that broadcast
because it was the problem was Paramount had CBS.
Yes.
Right. It's a broadcast, so they have a whole bunch of things for that. Warner Brothers doesn't own any stations like that. Like Disney has ABC,
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so they don't, but Warner Brothers doesn't own any broadcast stations, and that's the thing that causes the
So, in
FCC
other
to come
words,
in.
out of the regular television broadcast station, so they consider TNT, you know, all the other channels they have, just
That's
cable
not-
channels. They don't consider that
That's
broadcast.
not, no, doesn't count.
So,
No one, yeah, they
so
don't
from
have
this
anything.
point on, we don't consider CNN an actual broadcast.
Nope.
There you
No,
go.
they don't have a. What it is that they don't have anything that other people pay to have their stuff put out on. So they have to go and have it broadcasted through other networks.
Through other networks, okay.
See, a lot of people think that Paramount wants to acquire Warner Brothers for like the Batmans and all the franchises, but they really want the rights to the WWB frog. You know, remember the
Oh, yeah.
WWB? What happened to that frog, by the way?
He's actually buried in that water tower.
Yeah.
With the CW, find it.
Exactly. But yeah, you know what? Look, I think this is bad for Hollywood as a total because, you know, look, already right now they've walked up and they're slashing jobs at Warner Brothers.
Would this also mean Warner Media?
Yeah, that's all of them. Yeah,
Yeah.
everything goes into it.
Like no one wants that company. Like nobody wants Warner Media. They can't, like Warner, like,
well, Discovery did.
Yeah, no, but even then they're like, you know what? There's really not anything on here we want.
It's
like
terrible.
because it was like AOL, right? Which was just like a dial-up system. And then what's up, Dead Man? And then it's like,
wait, AOL's not popular anymore?
No, actually, they're disbanding AOL in a couple of weeks.
I
didn't know they still had dial-up.
I better get rid of those CD. I better get rid of my CD-ROMs.
No, but so it's like it just seems like no one wants to hold on to Warner Brothers.
Yes, true. Well, because look, there's a massive amount of debt that goes through it. The Discovery thought, hey man, you know, we know everything about running the channel, and then they added on more debt to more debt.
And
you've got the people that own Skydance that have so much money that they can afford to run this, and it's not even going to bother them. But it's gonna hurt, like, you know, because Dr. Brittley and I work in Hollywood. Well, at least that's what they say on our time cards, but that's not actually true. There's a point where this leaves lesser opportunities for films to get made, because when you have like 6 or 7 studios in town, you can shop it around. When you've only got like 2 or 3, if it's a no, it's not happening, and you're either going foreign overseas or something.
Because with this, it's basically going to be like Paramount Skydance, Apple TV, Amazon.
No. Yeah, well, yeah. Well, I don't know if they consider that. TV. I don't know if they consider that in the same way they're competing, but yeah, Apple TV. I mean, Netflix.
But it is a competition, because with Paramount and Skydance, you're basically competing for the streaming world.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Once you have, like, Disney right now is a huge chunk. If this deal with Paramount and everything, they jump up a notch, and then they push down Netflix and Apple because of just the sheer size of their libraries. It's kind of like when Amazon bought MGM. That kind of picked them up, just the sheer size of all of their library. That's why these companies are trying to acquire one another, is for the library. And now you're charging somebody to put your streaming movie on their service, and you know, this is one of those things that goes all the way around.
While all these idiots are fighting to put their D's on the table to find out who has more money, YouTube is just surpassing everybody on watch time, and no one's paying attention to that. And it's like, I mean, look, YouTube, all they have to do is flip that switch where they make everybody a producer and seasons and everything else, and then you're just gonna get to the point where everyone's like, hey man, unless it's like crazy good, no one's gonna go to that.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Right now, the key differentiator and the reason why the crazy money is being thrown around is live sports.
Yes,
correct.
Live sports. That's the reason why. That's the reason why Paramount paid what they did to get what was it, UFC, where now all the pay-per-views are streaming live for free, and then WWE TKO did the deal with Netflix. And dude, you get people's attention. You got to remember, and I think I heard an interview recently with Dana White, and they talked about it, is like, people can watch whenever they want to watch at any point in time, most of the time, right? So in terms of advertisers and things, like, you just don't know. You're just like, there's not a dedicated time slot in which, you know, eyes are going to be on at the same time. But you definitely know on live sports, that if you want to tune in and you don't want to be late to the party, you're going to be watching, and I think that's the future. Does this mean that James Gunn gets Star Trek and we're going to see Batista or Cena
Oh,
as
I can
Captain
see that
Kirk?
happening.
It's happening.
I can
Bro.
definitely see that happen. But
It's
also
happening.
too, I think that leaves a hole, and I think Apple at that point really has to take a look at Universal, because at this point Apple will be the odd man out, and they'll be like, "What's left?" And
I
it would
think
be
Universal's
Universal.
but that's a giant. Like they are.
Apple got the money; they got crazy money.
Oh,
to
I
throw
know,
at
I know they
anything,
got the money. Well, I don't know
you
about
know?
this iPhone. We'll see if they got the money. That stock keeps going down.
Yeah, after that 150% decline in stock, I really doubt. I think Apple's really trying to be like, check out the iPhone Air, and everyone's like,
I mean,
no.
they released an iPhone. They just put an orange flip case on it, and they said this is the new one. It's like that's
Well,
just
the thing,
case.
we won't get into that. I have my opinions. I have my opinions on it.
Well, Chet
I know
buys
what
everything.
Apple's
It doesn't matter what it is. It's like
That is
G1
correct.
Transformers and new Apples. So he's already
I've
got
already
it.
pre-ordered the orange.
Tim Cook
phone, so it's
hand
not
delivers it. We know that.
Yeah.
It's shit
And,
to the
So
yacht.
notice how Paramount is bringing back Michael Bay for another Transformers movie. They're not playing around. Imagine if they get DC.
Oh yeah. You're gonna start
Do you
seeing.
imagine a Michael Bay Batman?
You know what? I think
I
it would be one
I
of
would
the
watch
action
that.
patch Batmans in the world. The
I
storyline would
would.
be crap, but it'd be explosions in Gotham City would be dope.
I would watch that. In fact, I would love Michael Bay to do Batman Beyond.
Yeah, and he gets some like Batman would have first time he have like a punk rock music actual band do his actual opening. It would be different. But I think he would pull out that Batmobile scene. It'd be the greatest Batmobile scene we
Best
probably ever
Batmobile
seen.
scene, hands down.
So, hey, you never know, but it does give them a playing field. But we'll keep you guys developed on this, if this is going through or not. I'm sure you'll probably see that. Flipping through, Dr. Brentley, take the helm again.
The Conjuring gets its own TV series. HBO Max's The Conjuring TV series adaptation has found its showrunner in Nancy Wan. Variety reports that Wan will not only serve as showrunner, but also writer and executive producer. Peter Cameron and Cameron Squires are also joining the series as writers. Wan will co-executive produce alongside Peter Safran, while director James Wan's Atomic Monster will be producing. No additional information, such as plot details and casting announcements, were made. HBO Max also declined to comment. The news arrives shortly after the premiere of The Conjuring Last Rites, the final movie focusing on Ed and Lorraine Warren. The film earned $194 million globally during its opening weekend. That's pretty damn big.
That's pretty damn good. It's pretty damn good.
Green light show, yes.
I will say this: if Warner decides to sell us at the wrong time because they're making money for a change, but wow, 194 in the opening weekend for something that I was even skeptical about. Where I was like, the last one was okay, and I was like, it wasn't as good as 1 and 2, but it was still good. You could still sit through it. Still had the scares, but this one I was like, how's this going to be really received? And I've seen they've got like The Nun. And there's a bunch of other, there's the Curse of, what was that? La
Llorona.
Yeah, La Llorona. And then they also had, I think there was one other, and then Annabelle. So this has been a very lucrative franchise. And then we just saw that Annabelle popcorn bucket, the Conjure popcorn bucket that everybody's running out and getting. And this summer, and Annabelle again has murdered somebody. So, it's worked itself out where like they can't get out of the news with this series. So, of course, making that kind of money, why wouldn't they just run an actual HBO Max series? Because I have HBO Max and there's nothing to watch on HBO Max.
I just recycle the Batman movies.
That's all you can really do, man.
Yeah.
So. Anybody else is up for this? Has anybody seen the last Conjuring movie so far?
No.
I wanted to see it. I haven't seen it though.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely. Well, I don't know if I want to see that in the theaters because I got to tell you, Dr. Brentley and I, we had an actual house that we were renting in the South Bay area of Southern California, and I remember the first one we didn't see this in the theater. I was like, let's watch it. So it was a huge house, a 4-bedroom house, and everything was huge. And we used to like keep the doors open because you could do the door in the back of the house and in the front, and you could have a hell of a draft go through. It took only the first 5 minutes of that first Conjuring movie for me to get up and lock those doors to the back and front because I was like, "What the hell is it?" That movie scared the internal. I still can't walk down in like a dark area because if I hear claps, I'm gonna lose it.
Yeah, all you have to do is go, and
that's it.
you will freak Mr.
That's
Storm
it.
out.
Yeah, that movie scared the holy crap out of me, especially that doll. I was like, "Oh no, man, I can't deal with this stuff." So I give them credit. They've built a series of all these films. Each one of them has had their own look. I didn't think the Annabelle without moving with as many. They're still pretty good every time I see them. So I give them credit. This deserves its own series, man.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think I'll watch it, but especially with that story, I'm locking all the doors and stuff.
Yes.
I'm good. I'm good.
As long as they can make it scary,
There you go. Yeah, Commander Blythe's got always doing this. There you go. Yeah, it does that. You go. You watch that first 5 minutes of that movie. let it go. But so we'll see. HBO Max, at least they'll give us something on it. And I know they're going to fast track this with that amount of money. And we still got to see what it makes this weekend. So, kudos to them for that. Rolling on this one, we always got to hit a bit of controversy. Did you know that DC Comics, not only did they have a brand new Batman series they hit up, Red Hood hit the series. Did you guys know that?
Yeah, this was trash at its finest.
Yeah.
Like, if you could, this is like a double dumpster burn, man. This, like, regardless of what was said on anything, like, just reading this, there were lines in this comic that I was just like, am I reading? Like, this is dumb as, like, whatever.
Well,
I'll be quiet.
It wasn't due to the book, but due to one of the few things that we'll talk in the industry. But on the same day that the first issue of the mature reader Red Hood series was released in comic stores, DC Comics has announced that it is canceling orders for all future issues of the series and will additionally be offering credit for all the orders placed by the retailer on the first issue. That's including any copies that may have already been sold to customers. When contacted for the reasons behind the cancellation, DC Comics provided the following statement. At DC Comics, we place the highest value on all of our creators, our community, and affirm the right to peaceful individual expressions of personal viewpoints. Posts or public comics that can be viewed as promoting hostility or violence are inconsistent with DC standards of conduct. Now, people may be asking, I don't understand, what was the thing? Was it the book that was the point or no? No, it was the writer of the book. This individual right here, Gretchen Martin, made some unruly comments on Blue Sky. And the reason why we're stating this is that, we don't get political on the show. We don't care who you are, what you do, how your situation is, but we do on the point of coming to the one thing, especially with myself and Dr. Brentley working in Hollywood, and we've stressed this out, is that about time that they started holding some of these comic book writers to a higher standard. Now, there's been a lot of times we've seen where certain comic book writers would go on and berate fans and say whatever they wanted to say because they believed that they could. But you work for a corporate entity. And when you work for that corporate entity, the best thing to do is keep yourself quiet because you're affecting not only your job, but so many others. So that means that there's an artist now that's out of a work, a letterer, an editor probably doesn't have more on his workload, and he's probably a little bit underpaid, all because you just had to say something that was absolutely above the average of something that needed to be said. I tell you, young boys and girls out there that dream of being writers and want to be in Hollywood and want to do anything in comics, just do a favor. Not everything you think of needs to be said and put out into the public world, especially when you work for a corporate entity. Now, work for yourself, and this and
even then, you probably shouldn't. But go ahead.
But you can. You got the choice. But unfortunately, this writer now is probably never going to write for a major publication in this town or any others because those statements last for the rest of your life. But I think this is merited. We're again, damn what the political side of this. It's just a point of what are you doing when you work for business? I think there's a code of ethics, and I'm glad DC stood up for this code of ethics.
Yeah, well, the way things should work is if you've got some very deep personal opinions and you want to get it out there, you put it into the work. You
Yes.
put it and you hide it. You make things not straight up like, hey, I'm telling you this is how you should think. No, you tell a story, and in the story you bring up the issue that you want to talk about, and you make it difficult so there's no easy answer, and make people think. That's what a story should do. If you've got like a specifically like an issue that you feel strongly about, but to go off, on social media and start spouting some things that's, not good. You should just keep it to yourself, put it into whatever your creative endeavors are.
My favorite line from this whole book, my absolute favorite line from the whole book, is Red Hood walking and says, "It's so hot here. Even at night, the air is like warm saliva." That means it's going to be a really great read. That is. Oh, and then the other part, really quick on this is, you go to bed sweating and wake up with the sheets stuck to your skin.
Yeah. Well, the best part about it, if you bought this book, chances are the comic book store that you got is probably happier than hell because they sold you the book and DC's paying you for a book that you already sold. So that's, I don't know when that ever happens, but at least it happens. And if you're now on the other hand, if that was Diamond, you would never get paid and never get the book. But at least some of these comic book stores are getting some compensation back for this, and I'm sure there's a comic book store out there that says, is there a chance that I could order 100 copies of this book before they know this?
Well, it's interesting to know that there's no air conditioning in the DC universe.
Yes,
Yeah.
I guess so.
It's good they canceled it, because the hell of a lot of those book pages would have been at the bottom of hamster cages.
Oh,
all
man.
that garbage being printed. So
And again,
it's good they stopped it before.
it is a
more trees
lesson
were
to
killed.
you. You cannot go out and say what you want to say. When you work for a company, there's consequences. And unfortunately, it's your selfish actions by actually doing things. Look, we work in an ecosystem here on SKN, where it's Steve or wherever it's like, it's Rad or myself or Meeks or anybody else here. We all have a responsibility to think about our business partners and the people that we work with. And it's a shameful thing that this person didn't do that, and there's people hurting by it. But this lesson learned.
C'est la vie is what they say, I think.
Yep. And this last one, Dr. Brentley, you can go with this.
To boldly Lego. Lego Group and Paramount announced their first ever collaboration to bring the iconic world of Star Trek to life in Lego brick form. The Lego Group and Star Trek have strong shared values of imagination, exploration, and building a better tomorrow, making this an ideal partnership for fans of all ages. This announcement was released on Star Trek Day. Star Trek Day in 2025 is on September 8th and will celebrate the 59th anniversary of the premiere of Star Trek, the original series, in 1966. But next year, 60 years, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's, and then after that, isn't it like what, the 40th or 50th year of Star Wars?
Yeah.
So man, it got like back-to-back years where this celebration's going on, Trekkies and the Star Wars dudes. But hey, I did not know that Lego did not have a contract with Star Trek. I thought they actually did. So this shocked me, and I think, wow, man, can you imagine all of the Enterprise builds on Legos? That's going to be dope, bro.
You think that Lego has run out of stuff to do, and now all of a sudden, everything in Star Trek, you got the ships, you got the interior of them, all the characters.
Can't imagine how they pull off the traditional Starfleet ship design in Lego. It's actually really cool. They have photos of it. This is something that I will instantly buy. I will say this though. Lego was kind of depressed. I'm part of the Lego Insider Club, and I pay yearly for extra shit, and I don't want to talk about it. But I got notice that I could buy Lego's Icon, the Captain Jack Sparrow's pirate ship, and I was pumped. I was gonna go because really with Lego, I really only like buying like Star Wars or like ships. I'm not really the Technique Legos are great. I think they're fantastic, but so I logged in to buy the Captain Jack Sparrow ship. And that bitch is $379. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna stare at it for a while on my screen, but I'm not gonna be buying. I'm
Well,
not
wasn't
gonna be buying
like
that.
Not a
Hogwarts
Death
like
Star.
it's like 600 or 700 or something? Like you
Yeah.
look, man, what when they start getting these Lego sets, and some of that stuff can get pricey, man. I'm like thinking
Well,
to myself, like, wow.
the issue is with the thing that people have to remember about Legos is that the price is set knowing that the minifigures you're getting are going to demand more money than you paid for the set.
Yeah.
So like you can buy a set and then a minifigure, if you sold that minifigure off in a set, you would make the money back for the entire set. So it's really like you're paying for the minifigures, and all of these minifigures are fantastic. And I know that's what they're going to do. Star Trek,
Oh yeah.
it's
Oh
going to
yeah.
be
Captain Kirk minifigures are gonna go for like $1,000 each one.
especially this Bruce Willis edition that they have here. 'cause
Exactly.
That's definitely not who it's supposed to be.
Picard?
That's Bruce Willis. That's not Picard. Come
all,
on.
all I can tell you is that there's a reason why people are breaking into people's houses and stealing this and smashing and grabbing other stores. I don't know how Lego holds up its value, but they've done a great job because they literally have people robbing the streets for them. So
Mhm.
this Star Trek set, you've now added another rabid fan base to it. They're just printing money on printing money. Funko, Super 7. Pay attention to the people at Lego because they are printing money.
Have they
with
ever
licensing.
done Godzilla?
Don't worry, they probably will. Give them some time.
Well, they just did, yeah. And by the way, they just did a Soundwave one, which I haven't been able to get.
Yeah, I've
and
seen
the
that.
Soundwave one has Soundwave, has 2 cassettes, and has recordings.
Yep.
They need to do Godzilla and do John Wick. And then we're talking.
Absolutely.
We're talking.
Yep. So, with that, gentlemen, that's the end of plastic news for the week. Back to you, Rad.
Well, thank you, sir, as always. And again, if you're catching us here on the replay, you're staying with us a little bit longer than we normally do on Friday nights. Thanks for hanging out. Hit the subscribe, like, help the channel grow on our socials. Instagram, we're on X, we got the Discord. Follow us. There's big news, big announcements. Keep posted on all things SCAN. We definitely appreciate you all hanging out and supporting. C's director, hey, we appreciate you all hanging out as well. So thank you so much. Upcoming things, as always, we know Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Pacific time is Toy Box Chronicles. So that is Mr. Storm and Chet Maddox, and sometimes special guests, interviews, the world of toys and collectibles. And obviously every Friday night here, 7 p.m. Pacific time, is Pixels Plastic Inc. with all 4 of us talking all things pop culture. But we do have something coming up in just a short period of time, and that is LA Comic-Con. We are very excited that we will be live at LA Comic-Con booth 810. The SKN Crew Vault 9 Entertainment in partnership with Odd Frog, Advent Comics, Vonner Studios, and so many more additions. And we will have there one of the first Vault 9's projects, and that is the Potbelly Panda Crew. Check that Potbelly Panda Crew on Instagram. What's the handle again, Chet? What's the Potbelly?
Potbelly Pandas.
Potbelly Pandas, and as you can see right behind Mr. Maddox, one of the marketing pieces that will be in the booth will be announcing for the first time some really cool blind box panda bears with original art, not AI, and some exciting new franchise that we're going to be launching at LA Comic-Con. And then obviously with Odd Frog Entertainment, we've got the Bandito, the 112 scale action vehicle that our great partners there will also have there live to check out and pre-order, and a lot more stuff there we're very excited about. So look, if you can't make it, stay tuned with the channel. We'll have lots of videos. We'll do some interviews. So keep posted on the channel. But if you're in LA and you can come on by, come say hello, because we'll be chatting with all folks within the industry. But what a big moment. I'm super excited. An SKM partnership.
Absolutely.
And then obviously the last thing is we've been working with Holy Grail Toys, and both the Bandito 112 scale action vehicle and Potbelly Pandas will be available to pre-order on holygrailtoys.com. So lots of fun stuff. Gentlemen, did I miss anything? And just super exciting that we're literally just a couple weeks away from a big event in Los Angeles.
No, I think we've got it from them, but we've got some other stuff that's popping up as
Whoa!
well. That's right, and everything we've got on the week of the same week as LA Comic Con. And if you had to pick, it's the dreaded thing to have two great shows go on at the same time. But we had to pick one. We picked LA Comic Con because Southern California is our home. But if you're in the area of Duluth, Georgia, and Joe Atlanta, great show run there by Brett and Chris. Great guys. We've been there. Love those dudes. They always put on a good show. But if you're out there, then Joe Atlanta 2025 is going to be there. Our buddy Marcelo with Uru Toys will have the Night Wolf, and a version of the Bandito will be on two coasts, one on the in the south and one on the west. So you'll be able to see it in whatever region you're in. So make sure you pop by and check it out. But also you want to check out that Night Wolf. I saw some work from his comic book. Wow, Uru Toys is doing good things. But you can catch that through the 26th to the 28th. And then after that, it's New York Comic Con, where look, if you want all the big exclusives from Hasbro, you can only get them at the convention, or pray that you get them online, and that's October 9th through the 12th. But that's not it. Our buddies over at the Purple Gang had something that they wanted to make sure we shared, and we always make sure we share with our guys over there. If you find yourself in Stone Mountain, Georgia this weekend, tomorrow, then you can stop by and make sure that you see the Purple Gang and actually do a Legion hangout. And that's for Mythic Legions, which is the Four Horsemen kind of thing, over at, I think it's Gender Kid Collectibles. My eyesight's really
Charlie's
terrible.
Collectible Show.
Yes. Oh, in partnership with Ginger Kids Collectibles. And that's going to be tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And again, that's in Stone Mountain, Georgia. You can actually go online at charliescollectibleshow.com and check that out. It's hosted by Big Dub, which he's also goes back and forth. I've seen him on the Purple Gang and also on some Facebook group. Great guys. Want to hang out there if you're into Mythic Legions. Anything for Horsemen, you definitely want to pop there. So, guys, we've done our obligated thing for you guys. Remember, you tell us to do something, we do it over here on the Shadow Nose Network. Back to you, Rad.
Awesome. Well, as always, we appreciate everyone hopping in, and we will see you next week, Wednesday, 7 p.m. Pacific time. Follow the socials. Have a great rest of your Friday and weekend. Adios.